We will instead talk about FCC versus Miami. Head over to Ohio, and my goodness. I don't know if you guys are video game players, but if you play video games, you know that there's always a section where you can enter a cheat code, right? Make the game easier for you. Inter Miami entered MESSI, and their cheat code came to life. Lionel Messi is not real. I refuse to believe it. I think I saw the stat that in the playoffs, they have 24 goals, or like in their last 7 games, they have 24 goals. He has 22 goal contributions of those 24 goals. It is not real. It's not real. I refuse to believe it. He's already passed Carlos Ruiz's 2002 Wonder playoffs. Remember, we did a whole history episode on Carlos Ruiz's like never going to be broken record of goal contributions in a playoff, and he's done it in the first 2 rounds. Now I know that they had 3 games in the first round that actually, back then they had best of threes too, didn't they?
I can't remember. They've
I
changed the
can't remember
format so
either,
many
but yeah,
times.
he had I mean, less teams. I'm sure there were, I'm sure the games work out relatively close, but I mean, he's going to blow this out the water. And this is ridiculous that he's done this. They won 4-0 Miami against an FCC side that was just they weren't good, man. They were at home and they weren't good. And the what I'll say is that they underperformed, Messi overperformed, and there's a lot that we can talk about in terms of why, but I want to get your thoughts first.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, until a team figures out how to deal with Messi, I don't see how any team is stopping Miami from winning this cup. We had talked last week about how LAFC was our favorites for this. I think we are overlooking the fact that Messi is playing at his peak MLS form right now, and that genuinely no team is going to be able to stop him. And he's going to make every other person around him on the field better, which is just infinitely even better for Miami, right? Like you're out there on the field, you have the utmost confidence that you're going to be able to tear teams apart, be successful, score goals because you have the greatest player of all time on the field with you. Like I can't see how anybody's stopping Miami. Like Mascherano's got the easiest job in the world right now, right? Like just Messi, 10 other guys literally can pull people from out of the stands and just be like, all right, just go have fun. Just go run around, score goals, do your thing. That's all you need to do. Like that's all you need to tell him to do right now. The way that Messi's playing, it's unreal. I don't know of any team that's stopping him at this moment. The one thing I did want to point out in regards to Cincy versus Miami in this game was the shot map that I was looking at. Outside of 4 shots, every single shot from Cincy came from outside of the box. You're not gonna beat Miami or Messi in this form if you're trying to score every goal from outside of the box. It's just not gonna happen. I mean, maybe that's a credit to Miami and stopping them from being able to work the ball into the box. But if you're going to get more out of your attack, you simply have to get more opportunities in the box. I mean, all 4 of Miami's goals came from within the box, and most of their shots were inside the box. I mean, I
Well,
think, yeah,
I
yeah,
was,
go
I was
ahead.
gonna say if you looked at the way that their shots were too from outside of the box, they never got off the ground, right? They rolled into Rios Novos's hands, and they got blocked, halfway across the way. Like they weren't quality efforts from outside either.
Yeah, if that was the way that they were planning on beating Miami, then I think that's a misstep from Pat Noonan. But I mean, it kind of summarized. I felt like it summarized the game well. The fact that Miami just they couldn't even get quality shots off. They couldn't get shots off, period, in the box. Meanwhile, Miami had like 10 plus shots from within there. So I felt it
Well,
really like summarized the difference between the two, the way that the two were playing
sure.
in that game.
Sure. I do want to disagree with one thing that you mentioned, and is that you can put anybody on the field with Messi, and it he can do whatever he wants. Probably true, but one of the things that I think unlocked this game was it's a huge credit to Javier Mascherano, and it's that I didn't think he would have the guts to bench Luis Suarez on his return from suspension, right? When you watch them against Nashville, in the first 2 games, they looked, I mean, the first game, fine, whatever, they were able to go to it, but they lost away at Nashville. because Luis Suarez was being pocketed by the defense, had no pace in behind. They couldn't get anything going in behind, and everything kept coming back down their throat because they couldn't get in behind. Mascherano then says, screw it. Messi false nine, two super young, super quick wingers in Silvetti and Allende around him. And we're just going to let him fall into pockets. We're going to find his feet, and he's going to play him in behind, play him in behind, and play him in behind. And because of that pace and because of that quality getting in behind, they were able to be much, much more successful than you would have imagined, right? It's a brilliant coaching move, right? And I don't, maybe a hot take, probably not. I don't think you see Luis Suarez start another game in Miami, maybe ever again. I think this is his last year. I think it should be his last year. I don't think you see him start for in Miami ever again because that team without Luis Suarez looks damn near unbeatable. I
Yeah,
mean,
they look
it,
deadly.
it was ridiculous. And we talked about their shape too, right? The three in the back, if they don't get it right and they give up in bad areas, they're going to get countered quickly. They're going to get countered quickly. And what happened? They got countered quickly a lot of the time, right? But I'm really as much as I'm impressed and I don't want to say happy because I'm never happy when Miami does anything good, but as much as I'm impressed with Mascherano's guts in this moment as a young coach who doesn't have a lot of experience to do the tough things, I'm equally disappointed with the underperformance of key FC Cincinnati players, none more so than Evander and specifically for me, my player to watch from the previews, Brenner. We talked about Brenner being this player to watch in the match after his heroics in Hell is Real. And my goodness, was this maybe the worst game I've ever seen him play. I think I watched three different times where he just tripped over the ball, received it at his feet, tried to turn, and just fell over or kicked it backwards. I mean, generationally bad stuff. And we talked about it. He needs to step up. Kevin Denke, ghost, right? Evander hasn't had a goal or an assist all playoffs. 3 games against Columbus and then Miami, no goal contributions. I mean, in the biggest moments, their best players disappeared. You just can't do it. You cannot do stuff like that. So super disappointed in FCC's ability to show up, really.
Yeah. Evander lost the ball 17 times, it says, that game. And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
felt like,
that tracks based off of the eye test.
yeah, and I felt like there were two moments that I remember that kind of like summed up his game there. There was one where he lost the ball in the midfield and then got upset and started jogging back. Meanwhile, Miami counterattacked and Allende scored immediately. I understand that he wasn't going to be able to full sprint back and contribute in that case, but I just felt like it was definitely not a good look. And then there was another moment late in the game where it felt like FCC maybe was getting a little something going for this one attack, and then he just takes a very, very mediocre shot from way outside. Again, talking about the shot map, as you mentioned, poor shots from outside the box. It just completely killed the whole attack. But yeah, I mean, I think the attack across the board for FCC was very poor that game. They were not great.
Yeah, no, it's very fair, and I guess we'll round off this section with a revisit of a comment that we made at the end of the preview was Pat Noonan might have been coaching for his job that day, and he put out a performance like that. Do you think FCC needs to move on? What's the deal with him?
I don't think so. I mean, I think the team still performed well throughout the entire season. Granted, I don't think they were very convincing this year. It wasn't a situation like we talked about round one for them against Columbus, and we were like, yeah, they won, but they were not very convincing in the way that they won, right? And then they come at next game at home and get torched by Miami. Now, granted, maybe that's not an uncommon occurrence. Maybe Miami is just on a roll right now and will torch anybody. But it was definitely not a great look for him. That being said, I think if it were me, I'd probably give him some time into next season at least. And if you're still not performing well, then I think you start to have the tougher question of do we need to move on at this point? Or are we just going to stick this out? And I would think if you go into next season, you're struggling, you probably move on. But I wouldn't move on from him right now.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page here. I think you give him you give him the off season, invest a little bit more into what he needs because you're probably going to lose players and you know that you have gaps that you haven't filled. He got you a very good finish in the table, right? He was in the supporter shield race for quite a while, right up until the last few weeks, if I remember correctly. And if he comes back and FCC look like duty in the first month of the year, then you're talking about, okay, maybe we make a decision here. But I would say right now the seats may be a little warmer, but I wouldn't say it's anything near scalding hot. So
Yeah.